In the chloride ion, there is one more electron than the protons. So one a net one more electron than proton, meaning 18 electrons are there and 17 protons are there. So there is one extra electron which gives the negative charge. Okay, so this extra electron is just gonna be added to the is just gonna be filled according to the Aufbau's principle again. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, and 3p. 12 electrons have been filled. 3p6 gives 18 electrons. This electronic configuration, as I have said earlier, also can be represented as argon core because this element argon, the noble gas, has 18 electrons as well and it has this electronic configuration. So this is basically equivalent to argon core. Okay, now let's write down the electronic configuration of copper atoms. I'm gonna write it in a shorthand way. Argon core, 18 electrons have been taken care of. Then comes the 4s and the 3d orbitals. Now, according to the Aufbau's principle, the 4s electrons have to be filled first before the 3d electrons, right? Okay. The expected trend, according to the expected trend, this should have been 4s2, 3d9. But this does not happen. Does not happen, but in reality it's 4s1 and 3d10. Now why does this happen? Basically the reason why this happens is that the d subshell has 5 electrons, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 9 electrons once filled will look something like this. Okay, the first they'll be filled singly and then they'll start pairing up. And now let's write down the electronic configuration of the 3d10. 3d10 means all the orbitals have been completely filled. First the electrons are going to be singly filled and then pairing occurs according to the Hund's rule. Okay, now whenever whenever the d orbitals are either completely filled or half filled, they become very stable. Okay, this configuration is very stable. Why is it stable? Because it's completely filled. The d orbitals can have a maximum of 10 electrons, and completely filled orbitals are very stable. The atoms always want to be in the most stable electronic configuration that it can achieve. So that's why this copper atom, the two electrons of the 4s, out of the two electrons, one electron jumps to the 3d orbital and forms this electronic configuration. So the final configuration of copper becomes argon core, not this, but rather 4s1 and 3d10. Okay, now look at the electronic configuration of copper 2 plus ion. In the ion, two electrons have been removed. So just follow the principle that I just discussed earlier, that the electrons are always removed from higher quantum number first. So basically, in order to remove the two electrons, first the 4s1 electron will go, and then the second electron will go from the 3d10. So the electronic configuration of copper 2 plus ion becomes the argon core and 3d9. 4s electron goes and one electron goes from the 3d. Okay, uh, let's go down here. Now let's look at the electronic configuration of chromium 2 plus and chromium atom. Okay, like copper, chromium is also an exception. For chromium, the electronic configuration should have been argon core, 4s1, 4s2 and 3d, 10 and 3d4. Okay, but it does not exist as 4s2 and 3d4, but rather one electron goes to the 3d and forms it 4s1, 3d5. What's the difference between 3d5 and 3d4? This 3d5 over here is half filled, half filled, whereas 3d4 is not half filled. This is half filled because a maximum of 10 electrons can be accommodated, but at this moment only 5 electrons are there. 5 electrons mean that each orbital has one electron. This electronic configuration is more stable. 3d5. This is more stable, and since I told you guys earlier that the atom always wants to exist in the most stable form, so since this electronic configuration is more stable, the chromium atom more likely to exist in the 4s1 3d5 electronic configuration. So the final electronic configuration becomes argon core, not 4s2 3d4, but rather it becomes argon core 4s1 and 3d5. This is the electronic configuration of chromium 24. Now let's write down the electronic configuration of chromium 2 plus ion. Again, two electrons have been removed. We know that electrons are always removed from the higher quantum number first. So the higher quantum number in this case again is the 4s. So one electron lost from 4s and one electron lost from 3d. So the electronic configuration becomes argon core and 3d4. So that's it for electronic configuration using the Aufbau's principle.